Welcome to AeroSpaceNews.com, coming to you direct from a cafeteria on SETI Alpha 5. Here you'll find stories on tactics, leading-edge technology, major milestones, hot pics, and beautiful flight video. Your basic airplane, helicopter, and spaceflight porn. I'm Craig, editor and publisher, and it's all my fault. In this segment, we are going to try something a little new for us, calling out your killer comments and even answering some questions. So, with apologies to the gunny, it's time for mail call. First, a bit of a mystery. As you can see by the screen captures, the person behind a pair of pretty helpful comments was called Rick Kane. As I was preparing this video, I went back to copy and paste the actual text, but the comments in the user were gone. Poof. They were smart and thoughtful, so I'll still give credit where credit is due. On our massively commented UHB piece, in response to a question asking, in essence, where the advantage of an ultra-high bypass jet comes from, Mr. Kane replied, "You're missing something. Traditional jet engines are wasteful because all the air is used to burn fuel. The drive portion of the engine produces so much rotational power that most of it just gets wasted. A turbofan engine uses the wasted power to turn a fan, so it produces additional thrust. Scale that up and the engine gets even more efficient. The problem until recently was that the blades, as they get bigger, the stresses on them increase. Modern high-bypass turbofan engines like the GE&X engine use hollow carbon fiber blades for the fan portion." See, that's a pretty good answer. He also weighed in on a comment that suggested the tougher noise regulations and the specter of an uncontained blade failure doomed the UHB technology. He said, "Correct on both counts. Noise is very high and uncontained blade failures could shred the plane. Subjecting your passengers to a high-speed buzz for up to 11 hours would not be a good selling point, as well as an engine blade coming off and entering the passenger compartment." That's another good answer, but I don't agree about the prospect of blade failure. Literally countless numbers of airplanes fly and have flown with both piston and turbine propeller propulsion systems, pistons and turboprops. Say that fast 3 times. While there are risks, and blade failures are unacceptable, they certainly don't seem to be a plague upon aviation's house. Same video, Minecraft Addict 1169 said, "The 1980s called. They want their show back." Yeah. Over on a chapter of our epic video about the history behind the awesome V22 Osprey and 609 Tiltrotors, Joshua Meyer asked, quote, "What happens when one engine is collapsing?" Thanks for the question, and no disrespect intended, but I believe what you're asking is, what happens if a tiltrotor suffers the loss of one engine in flight? Well, what is supposed to be happen in that case is just a power loss to both rotors, not, as you might suspect, one rotor no longer turning. That's because the V22, like the CH-47 Chinook helicopter before it, has something called a cross shaft that is supposed to share the power from the remaining running engine across both rotors, allowing the flight crew to maintain control of their aircraft. Of course, sometimes it happens. Speaking of which, Sebastian Kajander, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, he asked a question over on our El Toro plane crash clip. Quote, "How many G's were he exposed to in the crash?" I wish I could tell you, but my research failed to find a credible answer. There were claims up to 73 plus Gs, but that does not seem believable to me. Around the time I shot the unfortunate accident, and it later aired on CBS network on the show Rescue 911, it was said he had broken more bones and survived at that time than anyone before. Not a record I'd like to try for. And finally, what is my favorite comment of all time so far in response to our ultra-high bypass jet engine technology video. It's got all the elements going for it. It's factual, positive in tone, and I think pretty funny. Referring to this. User Freppy wrote, "At the beginning and the end, we can hear Darth Vader playing pretty good piano. Quite impressive for a guy that had both his hands cut off. That is just funny." So, should we do more of these? Did this segment suck? Leave a polite comment here or on AeroSpaceNews.com and let us know. We may even start a comment contest, but don't hold your breath. To keep up with the latest breaking news and amazing flight videos, subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter at Aerospace News, all one word. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the leading edge at the Wormhole Navigation Conference on Coruscant.